All right, welcome everyone to the Static Site Editor Product and Design weekly call for July 27th, 2020. I don't have a ton on my agenda that wasn't covered in the earlier meeting, but a follow-up on one of the items was that I did go ahead and record a video and kick off our internal testing of the Static Site Editor with the product team. I let everybody know that they can edit the product pages, and I sent them a link to the feedback issue. I hope we get a lot of new users in the coming week or two. I'll also be bringing it to the product weekly meeting on the agenda next, actually it's tomorrow in the evening, my time. So hopefully that will be an extra reminder for people to start using it and try it out. I'll keep an eye on our stats, and I will keep an eye on the feedback issue. But I'm excited to see what people find and how they like it. And then just to recap a few things from below for Michael's sake, but maybe we can dig in a little deeper on some of these. I am going to not officially delay because I never had it on the books, but we were talking about maybe doing story mapping on Thursday instead of our social call. I think we should keep our social call. I talked to Jean about this. He agrees for a few reasons, but a little extra prep and getting the right people in the call will be the two priorities. So look out for an invite soon. It might be next week or the week after, but probably no later than that. I don't want to push it too far out. And then we have a correct maturity date. And the reason I bring this up again is I know, Michael, you've been involved in some of the category maturity scorecards, which I was involved in a issue thread that specified that I should stop calling it a UX scorecard because there's two processes. The category maturity scorecard is the lighter weight, like 2 or 3 questions, internal testing only, should be relatively easy to kick off when we get to that point. And hopefully we'll get to that point before the end of 13.3. And as an FYI, I signed us up for the group conversation on August 18th. I'll be hosting, there's no requirement that we all be on the call, but it could be interesting. As I mentioned earlier today, I'm more nervous about nobody showing up than I am presenting to the whole company. So if you can spread the word and encourage people interested in the Static Site Editor to join, I'll start doing my own little promo rounds around Slack leading up before the meeting, but hopefully we'll get some good questions, got a lot of interest, and then hopefully it'll be very shortly before we're ready to just roll out the handbook. The editor and the handbook all together. That's really it on my side. We touched a little bit on 13.4 planning. I guess I should talk about that while you're here, Michael. My intent is to flesh out the issue, which I'll probably turn into an epic for editing front matter in the Static Site Editor so that we can start exploring it. Unless there's a reason why it won't work or we need more time to do research, I think that'll be a good candidate for our next meaningful feature while we're figuring out the research and the UX for the merge request flow. There's a few other things, and obviously I'll have a planning issue in the coming week or week and a half that we can collaborate on, but that'll be the one big feature, the directional feature that I'm focusing on. And that's it from my side. So we had our first user research session last week. How do you think it went?
Michael, were you muted?
Yeah, I was muted, but that was okay. I was going to jump onto the next one, but
yeah,
Eric jumped on it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the first session went well. I think there was a bit of a hiccup with the prototype, but other than that, I'm getting what I need from it. I think there's a lot of stuff in there for a 30-minute session, so it's I realized at the end I didn't really leave any time for you to ask any questions or for the participants to ask any question. It was just like boom, 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 boom. It's like, okay, it's pretty jam-packed, I think. So, but from what I see from it, it's okay. Well, I think we're getting some information there. I made some changes to make the prototype not work better on smaller screens. I made like little nudging changes with like the copy and things like that. I also updated the prototype to reflect the new direction on what I'm proposing for, what I'm saying the direction is for moving the edit links up on the page. So I don't know if you saw that issue. Let me try to link that. But I moved the links to the sidebar for this iteration, Eric. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw the issue. I didn't get a chance to click through yet today, but
Yeah.
I'll take a look at it now.
Okay. Because the example that I've been working with the prototype doesn't have like, so if you go to like the GitLab, the product page, it has a whole list of links at the top, and putting in like contribute to this page at that top, as well as like the updated by whoever at this time. I thought by adding that without really reconsidering that top area, I think it's just going to get messy over time. So rather than trying to solve that, I kind of pulled back the scope of the ticket to just look at like moving the links up to the top of the page somewhere. So I probably went with like one of your original considerations of having like contributes to this page and then a list of the links underneath, but I just laid it out a little bit different. So I included that into this week's prototype flow. It's still the same kind of flow to see which area people will click on, but to start the edit, which is interesting, which will be interesting to see which one resonates with people, but yeah. What were your thoughts on this session?
I felt the same way. I feel like we're getting good information. I think there are, it's just one data point, but I took some notes and I meant to summarize them in an issue, which I'll do first thing in the morning as well.
If you want to summarize your notes, do you want to do it directly in Dovetail? And then we can bring it back once we're done this sessions.
Yeah, I'll do it in Dovetail. It's a much better place to put it.
So I enjoyed that process. I think it was good, and it was good to give the opportunity to give you some like detailed and nuanced feedback rather than just trying to write a comment on an issue.
Yeah, I appreciate you going through that too, Chad. It was really helpful having people within the team to go through it as like also a rehearsal run, but also like ironing out any kind of flows. So some of the comments that you've made, like I incorporated into this as well. So yeah, it's really valuable. And yeah, I think I'm gonna start recruiting internally just for dry runs, because it's good for other people to get exposure to it, not just only like Eric and myself and Jean, but like, yeah, get other people involved. At least it's the type of feedback we're looking for anyways. Like, is this thing obvious what we're trying to do? So yeah.
Out of curiosity, did you have many other like developer engineer personas that you ran through it?
No, like I ran it through with Derek as well on our team. And then after this call, I'm going to talk to Lauren about it. So Lauren's the front-end engineer on the brand marketing website. So, and we haven't, I think, but we also have some other people lined up. So there was a lot of people who were enthusiastic about giving feedback. So I think editing front matter will be one where, I might pull in more engineering like people in there, but also have some mix of other people who've interacted with front matter before. Yeah. which kind of segues to like, you know, I think we should be doing these solution validation things like at least once a milestone. I think it kind of slipped on my radar, or I think I was thinking too big. But I think we have a few things lined up that we could do some solution validation on. So editing front matter, I think there could be a light one just to see like where the panel should be. Should it be a side panel, top panel, modal, or whatnot? But yeah, it might be an interesting one to just to get some feedback, because I know that in the first round of interviews, we had like one individual who knew what one or two individuals who worked with front matter, at least once or twice in their career at GitLab. So it's good to get those people back involved in this because they know what's up. So yeah, I might reach out to those people again. I forget the name off the top of my head, but yeah, I'll circle back and look it up.
Yeah, I think that'd make a good next candidate. So I'll try and make sure we clean up, or I clean up the issue and the requirements, and we can collaborate on, you know, the scope and make sure that that's clear, and then and you know, small enough, iterative enough, and then work on a prototype and start recruiting. Shouldn't be too hard to find a handful of people. That one is going to be tricky, but I was talking with John about it, and I think of all the things that are kind of near term on our backlog, on one hand, it's one of the things that would be least likely to have to be redone if we decide to go with a new editor, and it's more directionally. It telegraphs our direction a little better with what we're doing with the editor and what we want to do with the editor. Than something, say, like the markdown formatting shortcuts, which I really want to be in there too. But for things like just editing the title, or even being able to help the handbook be more SEO friendly, or like introduce a new type of front matter to the handbook that can benefit it, and then make it really easy for people to configure the properties of that front matter in the editor, would be a huge win. Yeah, so I'd like to at least get going on some solution validation.
Cool. Sounds good. And then
I added this last bullet because I forgot to mention it before. I got a message on Slack from Kai, the PM for the web IDE for the editor team or editor group, and he shared this Dovetail link, which is a survey they did regarding when people use the different editors, the single file editor and the web IDE, and why. And there's some interesting information in there about editing Markdown and the different use cases for the different editors. This did not include anything about static site editor, but we can probably extrapolate from those use cases and learn a little bit. So I didn't go through every line with a fine-tooth comb, but the spreadsheet is open on my browser and I plan on reading it.
How did you get a login to that when I clicked the link Git?
Oh, you don't have a login. I don't know.
Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can give you access.
In the meantime, I'll just post a link to the spreadsheet in the notes too.
That'd be fine.
Yeah, I can give you access at chat. I'm just gonna look up your email now. So Dovetail is like a new tool to manage research and findings like this, but yeah, it's just been rolled out recently. So it's kind of like the same thing that we had with Figma, where where we had a bit of a hiccup with like permissions a few times, but yeah. Okay. Actually, I should do the whole team. But...
Well, on the topic of research, I know we have another session coming up, so we can wrap this up unless there's anything else.
That's it from my side. Oh yeah, I guess like I have a few days off at the end of this week, start of next week, and maybe randomly next week. But yeah, if you wanted to do the, I think big session or something, like the same time as the social call works really well with me on most days, because like
Okay.
that's nighttime over here, and like yeah, I'm pretty much a night owl, so I'll be awake. But it's also easy for scheduling for me at those times. So if you are considering like using the Wednesday or a Thursday, yeah, or Friday, yeah, Thursday, Wednesday next week, yeah, just book it. And if there's any issues, or if you want to ping me first in Slack, that's fine too.
Sounds good. Yeah, I won't step on your out of office time, and I'd very much like you to be there. So I'll work around it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me stop the recording here.